When you believe and you know that you are enough, you're worthwhile, you have something to offer this world, you have some abilities. Maybe they're not the best yet, but you have the ability to put in the time and work on your craft so you can be incredible. So when you know you're enough and you believe it, the world will learn to know it too. All right? The world will believe what you believe about you over time. What's going on? You're listening to episode 97 of the Perspective Podcast, and I'm your host, Scotty.D.Russell of Perspective Collective. This show is about carving out time to build something for yourself. I want to share what is and isn't working for me, along with sharing my guest point of view. Also, at the end of each episode, I plug a weekly dose of inspiration of someone crushing it in the community, so stick around because it could be you. As episode 100 approaches on October 31st, I'll be dropping a few reminders here and there. One, I'll have limited coffee mugs, screen printed posters, t-shirts, enamel pens going on sale that day. For those on my newsletter over at perspective-collectiveteam.com, you will be getting a private link an hour early to get your hands on merch first. The reason why I do this is because in the past, I've had orders of over 200 and 400 of these hand-thrown coffee mugs that I'll be doing again, and they've all sold out in under 20 minutes. So this time around, I only have 48 of these, and I know they won't last long. So again, if you want to jump in early to get your hands on the pins, the screen printed posters, t-shirts, or these mugs, sign up over at the newsletter at perspective-collectiveteam.com to get first dibs. And I also mentioned this last week, but in order to hype up this milestone, I would love to see you create some tribute artwork containing Perspective Podcast and episode 100. That's the only requirements. The rest is up to you, so go wild, do a pizza theme, cat theme, outer space theme, Halloween theme, whatever floats your boat. Just make sure you use the hashtag Perspective Podcast and tag me at Perspective Podcast and my Perspective Collective Instagram account to make sure I see it, because I will be sharing all of your work and giving you proper credit and showing you some love back. Recently, I listened to a Lewis Howes School of Greatness episode, 695 to be exact, 695 episodes, my goodness. Damn, that's crazy. Anyway, episode 695 called Your Thoughts Will Heal or Kill You with Marissa Peer. Sounds pretty dramatic, but that's like the clickbait title, and it's so true. And there were a few main themes of the show which triggered some areas of conflict I had been wrestling with personally in my life, whether it was recently or pretty much my whole life. And mainly these fell along the lines of negative self-talk, because sometimes I can say some really mean things to myself, and other times of dealing with harsh criticism, as I've recently dealt with pretty harsh criticism, and I'm not going to lie, I let it get to me more than it should have. I love this episode so much that I listened to it a second time so I could take notes and channel my thoughts into an episode, package it all up, and deliver it to you, because I know these are things you probably deal with as a human too, especially as a creative. So today I distilled my top takeaways from that episode and injected my own Scotty.D.Russell flavor geared towards creatives. The following is a 4-step blueprint for kicking major ass in your life and your creative pursuits. And those 4 things I'm going to fly through today. Not necessarily fly through, but number 1 is knowing you're enough. 2, choosing your beliefs wisely. 3, use your words as a weapon for good. And 4, build your fortress against critics. Overall, I want to give you the firepower for transforming your words, your thoughts, and beliefs to create the world you wish to live in. You can find the show notes of this episode at perspective-collective.com/97. And something different here. I want to know what you think, and I want to engage with you on social media. So take a screenshot of the podcast episode you're listening to. And again, tag me on Instagram at Perspective Podcast or my Perspective Collective profile, and Twitter. Okay, I'm pretty active on Twitter, so let's connect. Share that screenshot. Let's go. Let's get into this episode. Let's jump into this blueprint, shall we? The step 1 is knowing you're enough. And when I listened to this episode, Marissa stopped and talked about how everyone has 3 things wrong with them. And when she said that, I was like, oh my God, you have my attention. What's wrong with me? And the first one was that there's always a belief of I'm not enough. Essentially meaning that you do not have something significant and worthwhile to offer this world. And this is what I talked about in my 3 life lessons learned from loving pizza. I talked a lot about how I didn't feel like I was enough. I felt lost. I felt worthless for so much of my life until I was finally able to connect and, have good thoughts about myself and make something happen. But I don't always, feel like I'm worthy at the same time. And number 2, they talk about things wrong with you is that you feel different, so you can't connect. And maybe you just feel like an outsider in this world. Maybe you've been picked on or bullied. Maybe there's just things that hold you back from being social, and maybe you're just a little bit socially awkward, so you feel so different that you just can't connect with other people. You can't enjoy that bond in a relationship with others. And the third one they talk about is something wrong with you is that you really want something like freedom from depression, or maybe you envy or want success, but it's not available to you. And this is a tough one too, feeling like you again, in a sense, can't connect with people, or opportunities aren't available to you due to whatever circumstances you are, whatever resources you have available to you. And when you feel like you have these 3 things wrong with you, and there's been a point in my life where I've had all 3 wrong with me at the same time, you're basically operating from a world of lack, which is extremely draining or defeating. I guess the last one especially, something like features online or followers aren't available to me, or freelance clients aren't available to me. So you're going to operate in this world of lack. And that's one of the best ways I could parallel it to our creative pursuits. So when you feel like this, and when you feel like you're not enough, and things happen in your life that make you feel like shit, I'm not here to tell you that it's not okay to not feel okay. Okay, it's a human thing. I talk about this in episode 34, all about you're human, it's okay to not feel okay. But in this episode, they talk about it's important to feel the feeling until it doesn't require to be felt anymore. I'm going to say that again. Feel the feeling until it doesn't require to be felt anymore. So experience when you don't feel good, or you're mad, or you're sad. Experience that, okay? Deal with it, but don't wallow in self-pity. Brian Manley, when he was on, he talked about he has this 24-hour rule. If something bad, sad, or something that gets him shook up in his life happens, he gives himself 24 hours to be pissed about it, and then he has to move on. And this is where the awareness comes in. When you can express your feelings, it can eventually go away. And that's me. I used to bottle things up for so long in my life. And then, I started blogging and speaking, and the podcast has really allowed me to open up and deal with these demons that would bring me down, that made me feel like I'm not enough. And that's why I bring these topics to you, because I know from the conversations I have with you on social media to the emails you send me that I try so hard to get back to people, but I'm the worst at email. Email is the hardest thing for me. But I know these things reflect with you as you share these with me, okay? You open up because I open up, and I appreciate the hell out of that. However, on the flip side, when you keep stuff in, it causes you pain. You can't find resolution when you hold it in. So I want to encourage you to feel the feelings, say it to yourself, say it out loud, talk to yourself. Why do you feel this way? Why am I pissed off? Man, I'm pissed off today because of my employer did this, this, and this, or this freelance project took a dump on me and I was counting on that money. I'm just pissed. I need to just vent, go to the gym. Or what's really hard for me, I don't like conflict a lot, so confront the person. I recently at the day job had to confront one of my coworkers that I love because they kind of let me down on something, and I was really pissed off. I wasn't allowing myself to feel the feeling, and I had to express myself. I talked with them, and now we're good again. It was awkward for me, but it was important. So again, feel the feeling until it doesn't require to be felt. So that's step 1 in knowing you're enough, is avoid operating from a world of lack and feel the feelings, have some self-awareness, and don't be afraid to experience it, but don't wallow in self-pity. Moving on to step 2, choose your beliefs wisely. And this is something I'm learning more and more and being more and more open to it. And it feels like the last couple books I've read keep leading along this same mindset. So I'm like, okay, this is the universe trying to tell me right now that I need to be more conscious of these beliefs. Because at the end of the day, your words and your thoughts are BFFs, okay? They are best friends, and your words and thoughts are what eventually create your beliefs. And I know you've heard this term and the saying before, but you are what you believe, and you get to choose whatever you believe. So when you make your beliefs, then your beliefs make you. You go into the world, and it mirrors what you believe. So make your beliefs and your thoughts amazing. Have amazing beliefs about yourself, about the world, and about the people around you. Don't see everyone as competition, because that's how it's going to appear to you. And why I say this is because when you believe and you know that you are enough, you're worthwhile, you have something to offer this world, you have some abilities. Maybe they're not the best yet, but you have the ability to put in the time and work on your craft so you can be incredible. So when you know you're enough and you believe it, the world will learn to know it too. Right? The world will believe what you believe about you over time. Let's sprinkle in a little bit of gratitude. I don't know if you can do this too much, but I'll say it more than probably is necessary. I can't think of the right term to say with that, but I believe in gratitude and having an attitude of gratitude. And there's another book I've been reading lately is Jen Sincero, You're a Badass at Making Money. And I believe I got this recommendation from my homegirls at Drunk on Lettering, Panda Design Co., Roxy and Phoebe. Those girls are hustlers. So when they make a recommendation, I pay attention. And in this book, Jen states, gratitude is one of the strongest and most transformative states of being. It shifts your perspective from lack to abundance. And it allows you to focus on the good in your life, which in turn pulls more goodness into your reality. And this is what I'm saying. So many of us operate from that form of lack of like, I don't have enough. I can't do this. I wish I could do this. I hope this happens to me. These are all words of lack. Instead of saying, actually, I'll talk to this in the next step 3. I'm getting ahead of myself, but being thankful for the things that you have in life right now. Instead of saying, man, I don't have a lot of money right now. Instead of saying that, why don't you just say, I have enough money to get by and I know better things are coming my way. Like that's operating from a mindset of abundance, knowing that you have enough. You are enough. I have enough followers right now. I have X amount. Yeah, it'd be great to have more, but I'm so happy that I get to connect with these people that I have right now. I'm thankful for all of this. I'm thankful for the skill sets I have. I'm thankful for that adversity. Episode 95, Loving the Crust. I'm thankful for those crusty times that sucked, but it taught me a life lesson that molded me to the person I'm becoming today. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for my son, my parents. I have amazing friends. I have amazing listeners in the world. I'm so incredibly grateful for you and the reviews and the support on Patreon. These are the things each day I make a point to say thank you for. And the more I continue to believe that I have amazing things going on for me, the world seems to reflect that and more opportunities land on my lap. So everything is a mindset. So choose your beliefs wisely because you are what you believe. So believe incredible things about yourself. Essentially is what I'm trying to say here. Oh yeah. And remember, what you appreciate appreciates. I also got that from the Jen Sincero book. I really, really like that. So the more you continue to show gratitude to certain things, the more your appreciations appreciate. It's going to get bigger, better, larger, and it's going to attract more of that goodness into your reality. How awesome is that? Woo! Moving on to step 3. Use words as a weapon for good. Essentially, I'm telling you to tell yourself better stuff. Every word you say is a blueprint that your mind, body, and psyche are working to make your reality. So you make your thoughts, and your thoughts make you. When you know this, you can pay close attention to what you're saying about yourself and your situation. And this is before where I got a little ahead of myself. So change the way you talk to yourself. If you're like me and be like, man, there's no way I can make this amount of money this month. There's no way I can get this project done in time. There's no way I'll ever work full-time doing Perspective Collective for myself. Again, this is talking bad about myself. This is making myself feel good. Or, man, how could you be so stupid to think this post was going to take off? Let me just go delete this real quick because the engagement wasn't there. This is all negative self-talk. Okay, you're not doing anything good to yourself. You're not instilling good beliefs in yourself. You're not, empowering yourself. So change the way you talk to yourself. And this is where I was getting ahead of, but we're going to talk about it now. So instead of saying, I can't, say I can. All right, I can make this happen in my life. I can make these opportunities. Instead of saying, I hope, say, I will. I will make this happen. I don't hope to get this work done by the end of the day. I will get this project to you by this time, end of the day, before I clock out. Instead of saying, I'll try, say, I'll do. I'll try to eat better means that you might give half an effort, but you're giving yourself the okay to, give a little effort and then bail out of it. Instead of saying, I'll try, say, I'll do. And this is me. I have a love-hate relationship with food and fitness. I love working out, but the whole eating good side, that's really hard for me. So I'm guilty of this one, saying, I'm going to try to eat better. This one, instead of saying, I'm not, say, I am. All right? I am capable of getting this done. I am going to improve in lettering. I am going to grow my following. I am going to start my business. And there's also another one that they talk about. It's bad to say, like, I know, okay? Like, I know. You're basically shutting yourself off from learning something new or having more opportunities come your way, because in your mind, you kind of just have this stubborn, I know. If someone's been like, well, in this lettering piece, your underturns or your connectors are a little bit inconsistent with their thins and thicks, or your downstrokes, your underturns. And if you're just like, I know, and you shut off the constructive criticism, you're holding yourself back from improving in life. So there's a bad I know, and this is the good I know. So I know I'm capable of doing this. I know I have something worthwhile to offer. So bad I know versus good I know. Make sure you're using the right one. And another way that you can change the way you talk to yourself is that every one of us has a praise muscle. And I'm here to tell you to build it up and flex that praise muscle often. You can't depend on other people to build it up for you, especially if you live in a solopreneur or a freelance world. I live and I eat, sleep, and breathe off words of affirmation. I like the validation. I like the praise. And when it's not there, sometimes it makes me kind of fall into a rut. So you need to be good about praising yourself. And it's kind of weird at first, but yes, I've talked about it in the past. I do have to talk to myself. I have to add fuel to the fire. I have to start the engine some days and remind myself, like, yo, I'm a good person. I have a skill. I have a talent. I have something to offer this world. I have a purpose and a reason for being. Praise yourself often, because the more you continue to praise yourself and build that up, you end up making yourself bulletproof for step number 4. Okay, step number 4 is building a fortress against critics. I'll be honest with you guys. I had a really nasty review that someone was basically telling me I was a copycat of another podcast. I'm ripping off all their material, ripping off their guests, and it was completely shocking, massively different, because I know the person who had the other podcast, and it really messed with me that day. It fucked with my head. And I've been good in the past about not letting this criticism in, but this time it got me. It got me, and it shouldn't have, because I let that criticism in. I felt the feeling, but I overfelt it and I let it get to me. So there's a huge difference between praise and criticism, as you will know. All right, duh, Captain Obvious, but this is why I say this. So when you praise yourself or you praise others, you build yourself up and you build them up, okay? Everybody rises together. It's an amazing feeling. That's why I got that coach in me, okay? I like to praise and build people up, help people find their potential as I try to find mine. But when you criticize yourself and you criticize others, you wither yourself as well as them from the inside out. So the more you continue to say, man, you suck. I can't believe you did this. Why are you so stupid? Why can't you be like someone else? Little things like that. You're totally withering someone like a dead flower from the inside out. And this is what I love. I'm a huge fan of Lewis Howes. And Lewis states the biggest critics are the ones who aren't creating. And this is what I forget. This is what I often forget, even though I mentioned in episode, it would have been 93, haters means having anger towards success, having anger towards everyone reaching success. But sometimes a critic can just really say the right words to push your buttons or to give you a stab in the back that just makes you feel worthless and doubt your abilities. But you got to know that critics and trolls and haters are generally miserable and unhappy with no life. Most people are pushing their hate on you due to something they're lacking or dealing with in life, or maybe they just actively dislike themselves, so they take it out on other people. And me growing up being bullied, I ended up learning that a lot of these bullies had shitty home lives. And I just happened to be their target, which sucked. So I'm here to tell you, don't let criticism in. Don't let it in. And the more you can praise yourself, use words as a good weapon for yourself and build up your beliefs and know that you're enough and believe in it every day, the word will believe in it too. And the criticism that comes your way, it makes you bulletproof. It won't fuck with you. It won't affect you. People can't criticize you if you don't accept it. And if you don't accept it, you haven't let it in. And if you don't let it in, it doesn't hurt you and it's left with the person holding it who's trying to dish it to you. So do not give them the power or permission to affect you. Do not let it in. And this is all note to self, because I needed this a couple weeks ago when I was letting that criticism in. And you don't have to defend yourself. Again, that's letting it in because it'll consume you and it's exhausting. You don't even have to respond, or you can just say simply, thank you for the feedback, and let it go. All right. And that's going to totally throw them off. So those are the 4 steps: is knowing knowing you are enough. Choose your beliefs wisely. Use words as weapons for good. Tell yourself better stuff with that. And 4, building a fortress against critics. When you combine all 4 of these, I truly believe you can kick major ass in your life, in your creative pursuits. You can wake up each day with the mindset that you are worthwhile and you have something to offer this world. That's so important. To have something you're excited about each day. When you go to bed at night, you have a hard time sleeping, or you wake up early just jazzed to get up to the plate and keep swinging. So believing in yourself, transforming your words, your thoughts, and beliefs, give you this firepower, the ammunition to create the world you wish to live in. And the more I continue to solidify these things in my life, the bigger opportunities that keep happening, the more I continue to believe in my business, the more my business continues to grow, and I'm one step closer to making Perspective Collective a full-time job for me. And I want you to have these same thoughts and beliefs in yourself, because you are totally capable. If you weren't here listening to the show, I mean, you would be off doing something somewhere else, maybe not productive. And that's why you're here, because you have these abilities to do great things. You're here because you want to build, something for yourself. You want to transform your hobbies into side projects, and your side projects into side businesses. And you're totally capable. And that's why I appreciate you being here. And I hope you found some value in this one today. Again, a little bit different, but I would love to know what you think of it. So shoot me a screenshot of whatever podcast player you're listening. Share it on Instagram. Tag me so I can reshare it and, engage back with you. It's really important for me. So moving on to this week's dose of inspiration. This one goes to 85 Brand on Instagram. Spell that out, 85 and Brand. I discovered this account recently and am blown away by the amazing illustrations, patterns, color palettes, background elements, and their curated checkerboard approach of the account. There isn't one photo I don't like the design of, and looking at the profile from a bird's eye view is absolutely stunning. Again, check them out at 85 Brand on the grams. If you're enjoying what you hear and you want to support the growth of this show, would you consider giving it a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts? It makes a big difference in getting the show discovered and climbing up the ranks, and I would love to give you a public shout out and send some love back your way like this week's rating and review. And this one comes from Nazgul9 from Mexico. I recently discovered this podcast and it's super easy to listen. Most of the episodes aren't long, so you can listen right away. And that's more of the monologue episodes, especially back in the beginning. I learned so much about me, had some topics that moved me to the point of asking me a lot of things. I am a designer and I am trying to change my work and perspective, so I'm looking for ideas, and this podcast is perfect for that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nazgul. I appreciate you taking the time. And I have a way now that I can read international reviews. So if you're an international listener, leave those reviews. I have a way I can go see those now, so I can plug your review here and show you some thanks. And as I wrap things up, I want to give a huge thanks to my podcast editor, Áine Brennan. She's freaking awesome. And my show notes editor, Paige Garland. She rocks as well. I could not do this without you two. And a huge thanks goes to Nick Jenkins of Blookah for all the dope theme music you hear on the show. Check him out at SoundCloud or Instagram at Blookah. That's BLOOKAH. And as you finish off your week strong, I want to continue to encourage you to keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep creating. You got this.